Well, yeah, that's true. If they announced Diablo Immortal alongside D4, it would have gotten 0 backlash. But that kind of just shows you that the people who backlashed in the first place were just whiny complainer pantses. They didn't have valid complaints about Diablo 4 or Diablo Immortal itself. They just wanted Diablo 4, and when they didn't get what they wanted, they had a tantrum. Like, right? That's like what little kids do. Maybe I like complaining. The internet in a nutshell. Are you Reddit? Are you Reddit? It's very Reddit sounding. Anyone remember StarCraft Ghost? Yeah, so the missions, the Nova missions that you can do now in StarCraft are kind of reminiscent of the idea of what StarCraft Ghost was going to be, but StarCraft Ghost would have been rad, man. Nova's my jam. Like, that would have been cool. I do like the missions, though, the Nova mission things. Very cool. I know there's not a lot going on for StarCraft 2 in terms of development, but that is some content that I appreciate from the Blizzard. That was more like a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. But all the Nova missions were pretty rad. If you haven't played them, they're cool. If I remember correctly, they cost extra. It's been, like I said, it's been about a year, but it's cool gameplay and it's kind of worth it. It's got some, or if you're one of those people who doesn't want to play the game, but you want to know what happened, there's some people who put together like trailer movies or cinematic movies where they string all the cinematics and relevant like in-game dialogue together to make you a movie. That's pretty cool. For the Nova missions in StarCraft, I recommend. Gives us cool content. Well done, Blizzard. Thanks. Nova is the number one waifu in the Nexus. I can't speak, man. My words. Yeah, so StarCraft Ghost was gonna be like a Assassin Creedy, kind of. What's the one with like Silent Snake? That one kind of gameplay, like hide in a box and shit. Gameplay with Nova. And then what you get now is a little bit different, but Silent Snake. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, I only play Blizzard games. Metal Gear Solid. Thank you. I only play Blizzard games and Pokemon. That's it. That's all I got. All right. I've got Blizzard games and Pokemon. I don't know anything else. But it was a cool concept. It never happened. What we have now in StarCraft is very different, but also cool. But it's all about Nova. So, like, that's cool, too. One thing that confuses me about it, though, the Nova missions that you do in StarCraft now. Her model in-game, they don't use her Heroes of the Storm model. They made a different model. The ponytail is not nearly as robust. But then for the cinematics in that game, they also don't use the Nova cinematic model. You remember the very first hot cinematic when the game was first announced? And it was like Raynor and Nova and Tyrael and Arthas and Diablo and Kerrigan, and like they're in a desert and they fight. That Nova model, they don't use that either. So I'm just like...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why? Not that the Nova model they use is bad. It's just, in my opinion, art is subjective, but in my opinion, it's less good. Yeah, but if they already had that model on hand, why didn't they use that model? But then they don't use that model. Like, that's what I'm saying. They already made it, but then they don't use it. And in my opinion, the model they do use is inferior. Now, I don't work there. There could be any number of reasons. Like, maybe that model is unusable. Maybe maybe there's something wrong with it. Maybe the way it was made is prohibitive of using it. But I don't know. I'm just saying. It's very pretty. That first cinematic with Nova, and then she do the kiss, and she's just number one waifu. You know the commercials where they're like, more Ovaltine, please. More Nova, please.
Clapped.
Yay.
Dragon Knight's power.
Oh, well, I mean, like, okay, so I meant the cinematic model for the cinematics for that game. It has cinematics. None of them use that model. They are a different style, though, too. Like, if you see them, you'll see the art style is a little different, so it just might not have fit artistically. That's possible. But then the in-game model, they don't use her HOTS model. And from what I understand, the HOTS engine is a modified StarCraft 2 engine. So you would think her HOTS model would cross over, but they made a different one that is, in my opinion, less attractive to look at with my eyes. Which might have been the point. Maybe they wanted her to look, I don't know, maybe tougher and less, you know, waifu. But, oh my god, I can't believe he's alive. No! We don't know enough. I don't know enough, I should say, about how either game runs or is coded to make any sort of guess on how or why they made the choices they did with what models they use. I'm just saying that her HOTS model is super cute. And then her HOTS cinematic model was also super cute. Okay, that's it. That's the main takeaway I want you to hear here. Oh no. All right. I just want to say, we do have Butcher and Illidan. So our team is very divey.
Sounds like a dragon.
Thanks. It's kind of hard to have Butcher and Illidan, but I was just kind of thinking.
I love it.
Like, which psycho dive child do I babysit? I don't know. I mean, Butcher, because he needs the meat, but like also it's really hard. I assume so, Merbzing.
They just got one tower from that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's really good.
Correct, Timmy, yes. The reason it takes 700 years to reconnect from a game is because we're running on the StarCraft 2 engine, and the way it processes, like, reconnects and replays is why it takes so long. They've sped it up, but it's still, like, 84 years. So if I remember right what KAO Milker said last time we talked about it at like a dev interview was that the way it works, when you reconnect to the game has to replay every action that ever happened in the video game. Like, it's like when you fast forward or rewind a VHS. You know how if you fast forwarded a VHS, it would replay everything like really rapidly. Like, that's what the game is doing when you're reconnecting. It's replaying everything that happened really, really fast.
He has convection.
Oh. And they've said they've sped that process up. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, it still, it takes 700 years. No matter what, it's still got a minimum number of things it's got to think about. So it takes a while. I don't feel like they could move the game to a whole new engine without anybody noticing. That's kind of a big deal. I think they just had said that the engine has been so heavily modified and changed and poked and prodded that it's not like really the StarCraft engine anymore. It looks very different, but that's how it started. That's kind of why, that's why the StarCraft model viewer, you can import Here's the Storm models into there. That's where all those like machinimas come from. Like the cool Deathwing one that was all over Reddit not too long ago. They do that in the StarCraft model viewer, similar to the WoW model viewer, only it's for StarCraft, and you can put the HOTS models in there because they're compatible.
The flame cleanses all.
I mean, that's a fair way to describe it, Merbzing, yeah. That they might have started out the same, but now they're essentially different. I guess for me, when somebody says like, "Oh, it's a new engine now," that makes me think it was picked up and ported to something else rather than evolving to what it is over time, which might just be semantics. Tomato, if you will. Team, we're kind of losing. Getting us back to the here and now of the video game that we're playing, we're kind of losing. To the surprise of no one, Butcher, Illidan, Convection, Kael'thas is not actually a good thing. And we are struggling. Butch is up there trying to like gather meat. He's been at 100 for this like whole game. He keeps dying. Kael'thas does not have his Convection stacks because he also keeps dying. Yeah. We have solo tank a Nubarak, which is almost never good in any circumstance, but especially not good in this one. There's no possible way a Nubarak can peel for Kael'thas and frontline for these two Psycho Engagers effectively at the same time, both. So I don't know, man. When Illidan tells someone to chill.
Yeah.
Chillidan.
Butcher man.
It's kind of a poopy situation for Alex to be in too, because he's kind of like damned if you do. Because if he's protecting Kael'thas, Butcher is gonna die. But if he's protecting Butcher, Kael'thas is probably gonna die. And in all of this, Illidan could also be dying. I feel a very similar struggle. Like, what do I do? Who do I heal? Where do I put myself? I only have so many buttons. And we're already kind of, since we're at level 11, 8 minutes into the game. Convection kind of already needed to be done to reach maximum power. So that sucks.
Prepare yourselves, heroes. The shrines will soon be active again.
No! So it's more like if we had only one or maybe even two of these things. Like Kael'thas and Butcher, Kael'thas and Illidan. Illidan and Butcher, but then like something a little safer. It might work, but having all three, it's like just a trifecta of pain. That's how it's going, Sarah. A trifecta of pain. Like if instead of having Illidan, we had a bruiser. Instead of having Butcher, we had a bruiser. Instead of having Kael'thas, we had something a little safer, like maybe Raynor. It would be better. If Alex had known this madness was going down and he was playing something maybe like Johanna, maybe. I don't know though. It's like I don't know how we fix this. Or if Kael had gone Mana Addict, that would definitely help. The deaths wouldn't be as detrimental, and then eventually he'd be able to save himself with his shield. So like all of that would help, yes. That would help. The Convection really does put a damper on things. And thus was Convection reset. 2 melee assassins is a tough sell. You're not wrong. But 2 melee assassins this divey and this squishy,
He got
honestly.
Convection before he died.
Oh, he did. I thought he was at 18. That's something. It's the small victories, right? Maybe something like a Greymane, who's technically a melee assassin, but also has like ranged poke and is a little safer. He can like roll out or be invisible or whatever. Might have been okay-ish. Yeah, man, the Convection oven. That's what we say. Get the oven going. Is there tool? Actually, I could see that working pretty well. I don't know what his plan there is. The worst part is Butcher and Illidan into Arthas, who counters both of them. That also kind of sucks.
He got the key.
I mean, that's a miracle. That's like a Thanksgiving miracle. That dragon getting the keep. While we're all getting booty blasted in the top. Meanwhile...
I mean, they did try Convection, Kel'Thas on the bridge, so, like, I don't know.
I believe in AlexDidz, says Simon. You're in a tough
funny.
You're in a tough tanking position here. You're doing your best. Did Illidan go hunt? Yeah.
I should have done that.
I was too scared to come out with you. I had ult, but it was like... Alex is doing a really great job with what he has available to him. But like I was saying, I don't like solo tank Anubarak ever. Like, I don't think Anubarak should be forced to solo tank. I think he needs, at the very least, a bruiser, but optimally, another tank. So, that's the thing. But like I said earlier, Alex trying to peel for Kel'Thas, and then also frontline for both Illidan and the Butcher is like, you're asking him to do the impossible. He can't be that many places. He's only one man.
Is under attack. Again.
Nah, he lived, Simon. It's okay. Barely, but it happened. Yeah, he's kind of squishy, especially to physical damage. Like, he's got that like melee spell or melee armor. Or I'm having such a hard time communicating today. He's got magic armor. But Vala doesn't give a shit about that and is probably just auto-attacking him to actual death. I'm gonna die, but I want you to live.
Links must be cultivated.
I want you to live, Alex. Yeah, Nubrak is really great for skill shot mages. His beetles can absorb up a lot of skill shots, like from Li Ming, and then his shields and armor, spell armor is really good for mage damage. But you need somebody else, right? Look at this, the specialist Illidan here, just really doing stuff in the lanes. I'm not even being like, I'm not trying to be shitty about that. The only thing keeping us in this game right now is specialist Illidan.
Life goes on.
Protect our ally at all
Witness the strength of life.
You didn't notice my tiny pilgrim hat? It's Thanksgiving, man. I have tiny hats for every holiday. I'm coming in with heels.
I actually will take that trade.
He was over their towers.
No, I meant like just taking Sylvanas off the board with Illidan is a good
Oh,
trade for us.
Okay, I mean, his 3 for 1 is pretty fine. It's just like, he was so far.
You survived. Will wonder never cease.
We took
Do you
a
have
lot
dragon?
of damage. Yeah.
Okay, I think you use it when we get to the gate.
Okay.
Potentially.
So much for their
They're
So
not
we'll
up.
have-
They're not up
yeah,
yet.
there's 4 giants. That's true too. Yeah, you're right.
I'll wait until they show up. And then I'll be like, "Rawr, I'm a dragon." I'll tell my team. Oh yeah, because Malthael's down for another 30 seconds, so if they like come at us... I did it. I was like, raw armor dragon.
He fought back.
Sylva's destroying us though. And I don't
Just run away and we get the Dragon Knight.
I was gonna say, I don't have my run speed because I'm so low, but like it's fine also.
Oh, it's actually instantly getting bodied. Whoa, what's up?
Let me tap and then I'll come with. Nice kill, keeping them dinged. AlexDidz.
I have seen enough.
A double kill.
Wait, are we just winning now? What an unlikely turn of events. What an unlikely. I have to say, Illidan's like split pushing specialist plays kept us in the whole mid game.
Surprise.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating at times, but it worked.
It was. But like,
MVP.
we did the
Oh,
best
I
with
said
what we
you had
got.
the kill.
Butcher was stacked at the end there, yeah. We struggled hard, but you gotta give it to Illidan, man. He kind of kept us in it. When all hope was lost, Illidan persevered.